What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran. I'm excited to keep going through some of their older tunes while I'm still waiting for the Future Past album to show up. Ordered it a couple weeks ago, and tracking said it would be here like 4 or 5 days ago, and then suddenly it was like, oh, we've updated tracking and it's going to take longer, sorry. So I still don't have the new album to react to, but I'm very much looking forward to it. In the meantime, I thought we'd go through a few more tracks on the Greatest compilation album, which I believe is late 90s, is that right? Yeah, 1998. So we're going to listen to a song called Girls on Film, which I definitely remember hearing, and I think it's one of their 80s tunes. Again, here it's part of this compilations, which includes, tracks from multiple releases, so I'm not sure which one it was on specifically. As I've mentioned, I do remember listening to a lot of Duran Duran as a kid, but I didn't follow their catalog as closely. I didn't have their cassette tapes to the same degree that I did Depeche Mode, so I don't remember which release Girls on Film is on, but someone shouted out if you know it. But ultimately, I remember the chorus of this. I remember it has sort of like camera sounds at the beginning, if I'm recalling it correctly. I think that's this tune. So I don't remember the lyrics as much. I remember it more musically, and again, the chorus kind of really stands out over the years. If I had to guess based on the title, and maybe again in light of what I think is like camera sounds at the beginning, it might be referencing sort of the world of like glamour modeling and sort of like high fashion and the sort of like, the fast-paced world and the sort of, the competitive sort of rivalry-based world that can sometimes be from, what I've read and over the years. But ultimately, I don't know if that's an accurate interpretation. Obviously, there's some of you out there, huge Duran Duran fans. Please don't hesitate to comment if you have like a very clear view of what this one's about. I do remember someone was commenting that Simon Le Bon is notoriously a bit cryptic with his lyrics, and he doesn't like putting too fine of a point on what he meant by a particular line or a particular song, which I do get, because again, I think I said it in another reaction, when you define what something is, you sort of inversely define what it isn't. And so the more you say, oh, this is about something very, very hyper specific, you're sort of, at least implicitly, saying that like other people who might have started to take the lyrics in a different direction, like, no, that's not valid, or that's not what I was thinking at all. Which again, I've mentioned it before. I think lyrics are interpretational, and ultimately they have to be a dialogue between artist and listener, because there are subjective understandings and personal history that someone will already have in tow when they encounter words, and those words will hit them in ways that might relate to certain aspects of their past or their understanding. So it will always be a dialogue. But like I said, I don't know what the specific origin of this is, but as I go to think about the song, that's kind of what stands out, that maybe it's about sort of like modeling and kind of like high fashion style. So let me know if I've got that wrong. Let me know if there's a more specific meaning. But either way, let's get to it. This is Duran Duran, Girls on Film. Okay, yeah, so it is. Yeah. Already love the syncopated drum beat. Walking hand in hand across the bridge at midnight, okay. So maybe kind of fitting with my interpretation, I think. It's just makes me nostalgic. Like I instantly just think of my youth. Number one, I like the bass. I like the way, like, the rhythm of that line. Ooh. I don't know. I suggest maybe it's, more like adult film, maybe? You know, how did I ever get here as she goes under again? I don't know. Oh, I love that background vocal. Very clattery percussion again. Love it. And a soaring keyboard melody over the top. Oh, that little, I don't know, snare, but that smack smack. They got cool, like, rhythmic percussive sense. I love the rhythm of that line. Shout out to that vocal. She's more than famous. Infamous. Love that bass. Ah, that backing vocal is brilliant. Yeah, I don't know. The lyrically, I'm not quite sure. As I said, there were a couple lines in there, especially like toward the latter half of the tune, that felt like it was, you know, the women in question were perhaps not wanting to be there, or at least, you know, wondering how this is what they were doing, maybe compared to what they thought they would be doing. You know, sort of maybe like coming down the fashion industry and finding their way into this unpleasant or, you know, less savory industry. So I don't know if that's a correct interpretation, or again, like I said, I think when I first was thinking about the tune, I was thinking about it more in terms of like high fashion and style, and, you know, walking down the runway and so on. Which again, there were a couple lines at the beginning where, you know, it was saying bridge, but it was about, you know, she can feel the camera on her back and so on. But now, in light of the lyrics of the second half of the tune, I wonder, you know, that could have a more, shall we say, sensual meaning. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you do have some specific information about, you know, the construction of this tune, not just lyrically, but, you know, there's a lot of people who have commented about some of these 80s tunes, about, you know, where they got this sample, or, you know, what the kick drum, you know, where that came from, and so on. So if you do have any information on the tune, please don't hesitate to comment. But regardless of whether you have information to bring here or not, I really do appreciate the people watching and listening. As I said, I'm still waiting for Future Past, but when I get that, I'm just going to start going through it, you know, tune by tune. I'm going to do it in chronological order, so hopefully some of you here are for it. But if you do have another tune on the greatest compilation album that you'd like to see reacted to, I think I've done like 3 now. What is it? Come Undone, Ordinary World, now this one. I think everything else that I've done is on one of the, you know, like I have a few vinyl of Duran Duran. So yeah, I have the majority of the tunes on this compilation, bottom line, I have not yet reacted to. So give me a shout if there's something you'd like to hear. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I will see you next time. Peace.